WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Hi, Lieutenant. How are you doing? Aw, did you find your land nav point, Lieutenant? Good job, Lieutenant. You get a
Expert Action Badge.
Put on your uniform right.
Expert Action Badge.
Show up to work on time.
Expert Action Badge.
Qualify on your weapon.
Expert Action Badge. Badge of Action.
Find your guidon.
Expert Action Badge.
That's right. Just doing your normal warrior task and drills, you get a
Expert Action Badge.
Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
Shit in a bag, Pogue. Badge of Action.
The voice of U.S. Army. WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Action Badge.
This is a public service announcement from C.T. Fletcher. I will not contribute to the pussification of a nation. Get your punk ass out there and work for it, motherfucker.
Let's roll.
Morning, Sergeant Major.
How do you know what kind of goddamn day it is?
Beautiful morning, Sergeant Major.
Are you a fucking weatherman now?
You're listening to Sergeant's Time on WTF Nation Radio.
From the Functional Veteran Center of Excellence on this 15th September 20, the year of St. Javelin 2002. In the year of St. Javelin 2022. There we go. Deep within the mountain compound or somewhere in the basement of the Pentagon. Maybe beneath the food court. Who knows? Oh man, it's so cool to wrap. Man, we got so much to talk about. Yeah, we did lose 2 years. I feel like, well, we actually did lose 2 years because pandemics and pandemias and whatever. So, hi. Oh man, I don't even know where to begin. Well, so first off, let me give the everyone's asking, of course, the big updates that I provided, and of course, as promised, every time I am behind the mic, I will give you guys the updates on the debacle with the 1st Special Forces Command and the Staff Sergeant Michael Dickinson mock-up. For what you guys don't know, is that there was an email that went out asking for input of this brand new memorial that was coming out. And that was it. Sent out to the command. Asked for feedback. Individuals did. That is bad press. That is bad press. Sent out to the entire PSYOP regiment and the command, the entire Special Forces Command, and asked for input. Somebody responded, and of course led to ass chewings left and right throughout the command. And the proposed memorial is right there. Now, mind you, 1st Special Forces Command is the subordinate command to the United States Army Special Operations Command, also known as USASOC. Right there where you see that proposed structure is where is a mock-up. It is the Staff Sergeant Michael A. Dickinson to Airborne Mock-Up Facility dedicated to Mike Dickinson. I served with Mikey. Everyone calls him Mikey or Mike or whatever. I served with him. And as soon as I saw that email and asked for input, me being a member of I guess you could say I'm a retired member of the Psychological Operations Regiment, so I provided my input as well. And as I read before, and again, this update may sound like I am beating a dead horse, but will be the updates of updates every time we come on to discuss it until this is fixed. So that email that went out pretty much basically said, hey, you want some input? Give us some input and please provide it to so-and-so and all that. So basically it rounded up like this. I'm kind of paraphrasing, or should I read it? Fuck it, I'll read it. So that way people don't say I'm providing fake news. This is reading the email verbatim. Teammates, we are seeking your input as we finalize the plans for the memorial at the 1st Special Forces Headquarters, HQ, the 1st SFC HQ. The intent is to build a memorial that celebrates our lineage and honors our fallen, and it commemorates those who have served and will serve in our ranks. The new 1st FC Memorial will be located next to the headquarters building, which I showed you before in that picture, and the existing grass will be replaced with artificial turf. Now, mind you, the existing grass is the Staff Sergeant Michael A. Dickinson Airborne Facility, the mock-up. It's Mike Dickinson's memorial. And so it's not the existing grass. It is a memorial already set in place. We're replaced with artificial turf to create a multi-purpose field for ceremonies and events with the memorial on the edge of the field. And then attaches the draft designs, and you must provide it to, I don't want to drop this kid's name out and dime out, and we are seeking your input from your formations. Please share your formations and provide input to Lieutenant Colonel Kriegbaum no later than 15 September. Your suggestions should incorporate the following. Now, mind you, they're asking for input, but then it's telling you what kind of suggestions you should incorporate. The Special Service Force, the POW flags, and singular wall with a list of the names of all KIA by order of date. Incorporate the lineage and campaign streamers, pictures attached, of course, which is what I just showed you, and statue not specific to PSYOP, SF, or CA. Memorial stones from Afghanistan, which in that picture, there's a total of 12. And of course, at the end of the email, thank you for all you do for our soldiers and their families every day. I'm looking forward to your input. Well, somebody didn't respond and input it, gave that input. Exactly that. Pookie says, Army asks for input, gets mad about input. The artificial grass must be mowed. It's still an artificial. Yeah. So I don't ask how I got the email. I know there's a witch hunt going on right now to find out who sent it to moi, yours truly. Don't worry about that. The email, the fact that it went out is that's what matters to me. So I write back to Command Sergeant Major Munter, who is the Command Sergeant Major of 1st Special Forces Command. Greetings, CSM. Happy to find this email in my inbox. Retired PSYOP Sergeant Major here, providing input and some observations. I'm sure you are aware of a memorial currently at the proposed site named for a fallen PSYOP NCO, Staff Sergeant Michael A. Dickinson. The site for this new memorial proposal is a mock-up facility already in use and is known throughout Fort Bragg. There is a memorial wall at U.S. SOCOM, Tampa, Florida, and USAC HQ, which is on Desert Storm Drive in Building 2029, also known as the General McClure Building, named after a PSYOPer, that has names that already honors our fallen. As a matter of fact, U.S. Army WTF Moments and WTF Nation Radio has checked into those spots for Memorial Day events. Is this a replacement, and will this include of all the fallen of the PSYOP and civil affairs regiments from the active duty and reserve component? Pookie, I was the guy that replied all. I replied to every single reply all email that address that was in that email. And of course I asked, are there plans to rebuild a new mock-up facility and a rededication? Has the Gold Star spouse, which she is a avid listener and she's a friend, has she been given the heads up of the proposed site and an explanation of the why? I also covered that this could be an emotional event. For many, I should say, this could be emotional for many without transparency. It is critical to ensure that all policies and procedures are followed due to the sensitivity around removing an established memorial, which, believe it or not, the Army has a regulation for it. Because this is refreshing to me, that of course I state in my email, that the command is taking input from the force, hopefully with no retribution. Win the mine, win the day, Ken Ramos, also known as ICE, U.S. Army WTF Moments, Digital Outreach, and WTF Nation Radio Station Manager. So, ass chewings went about, right? Ass chewings amongst everybody happened. I got some friends telling me that there's been an edict. You cannot like, share, follow, comment on anything. Baconator, you're right. This is an online class. Talking about the 1st Special Forces commands design and all that. Now, look, this is easy, okay? I said this before about the Army and culture. The Ghost Berets, the PSYOPers, the PSYOP kids, are also trying to get a distinctive unit, piece of their regiment, like a Green Beret has for Special Forces. Well, the PSYOP kids are doing it themselves. They want to, they're trying to get a Ghost Beret, a Gray Beret. Now, of course, when it was proposed and that was brought to leaders' attention, the first thing that came out was, will this make you effective? Will this make you a better PSYOPer person? Meanwhile, the same organization and leadership likes to post everything about, oh, these new Green Berets, they got this beret, and the Green Beret, yada, 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 yada. Well, at the same time, fuck them kids from USASOC. So I'm going to say right now is that I've said this about culture. I've said this a lot. Artifacts matter, okay? They're supposed to be, signaling a belonging within of culture or subculture. Everybody knows in the special operations field, everybody knows when you see a Green Beret, that individual with that badge, did it make SF more effective? They build pride and morale. Exactly that, Pookie. You've already seen my with my deets about that. The more you strip away artifacts, the more you have to work to fill out those cultural holes left behind. Now, the fucking, and then they try to do that force-fed shit. We take care of our soldiers, the soft imperatives, the soft truths, and all. Humans are more important than hardware. Special operations forces can't be mass-produced, or warrior ethos, right? So we have ignored this, and this is our time. Now, remember, Brigadier General Yarborough, during a KLE or a key leader event, John F. Kennedy showed up. And what was that old frumpy general wearing? A Green Beret, right? A lot of the Army fucking couldn't stand the fact that Special Forces they were on their own wear a Green Beret. Just like the Army fucking can't stand seeing tanker boots. You don't see it, take it away. Or spurs, exactly that. Or Stetsons. It would explode, right? So that was my input to that. Now, I'm asking... Well, actually, I'm saying, not asking, I'm saying that the campaign, nor the mimetic warfare event that's happening with specific PSYOP meme pages like PSYOPs, Storm First Class Pank, name them, will not stop until Glory Grace Dickinson is given an apology by 1st Special Forces Command, and she is included in every single plan to the effect of what is going to happen with the Staff Sergeant Michael Dickinson mock-up. Now, here's the thing. They've now passed it down to the PSYOP leadership for them to fix it. When you kind of notice that when there is a fallen soft soldier, or hell, even a fallen soldier, units are real quick to be out there out front to say that we are here to take care of the families. And you always see a GO representative of that. I was stationed in other units before where anytime there was a memorial move, an action officer was assigned to a Gold Star family member to ensure that the sensitivity of the memorial is not disrespected. And that family member was allowed to be in planning sessions for that. And so now, yeah, exactly that. Fix it or make it happen? Exactly. So now I'm not going to stop. Every time I'm going to give you guys an in brief at the beginning of each podcast, and I will talk about, again, a little bit towards the end of the podcast, this whole debacle. All this has to be done is a simple apology to Glory Grace Dickinson, and also a plan of, okay, what's going to happen? What's going to happen next? That's all that has to happen. That's literally all it is. There are specific protocols and procedures that are in place, and I think it's due to the fact that the PSYOP regiment has been abused like a fucking domestic violence victim so fucking bad that anytime a member of the special operations community hears about PSYOP and they talk about something, they're being told to shut the fuck up. Not no more. I'm done. I have sworn the use of my platform, our platform, your platform, the WTF Nation, until this is fixed. Until I see a public statement from 1st Special Forces Command, I'm not going to stop. Until I get something from Glory Grace Dickinson to say, hey Ken, pump your brakes, it's getting fixed, I'm not going to stop. So, welcome to Sergeant's Time. So, anything else? Anything else? Did I miss something? Because it's just more shit's going to happen. We're just getting to the, like the comment said, like Emma said in the comment, hey, more bad news, more stuff is happening. PSYOP, Alex Jones, is that you? No, fuck Alex Jones, because Alex Jones was shit-talking PSYOPers when the Ghost Regiment, the PSYOP Regiment, posted that PSYWAR video to recruit for recruitment, and all he was doing is talking shit. That's all he was doing. That's all he was doing was talking about PSYOPers, and so now, fuck Alex Jones. I don't care what he's going to come back with me and probably through a podcast. Who's this guy on this WTF shit talking crap? I don't care. So, fuck off. There. That was a good rant. Now the next story we're going to talk about is going to take us to Vermont National Guard. The story right here has been something that's been kind of tracking right now, and it's from the Vermont Digger. Yes, that's the name of the publication, and it was on the timeline for on WTF Nation Radio's Facebook page. This story is I mean, I'm talking, it's whack to hell. Finish your online sensitivity training. Exactly. No, we'll talk about that story in a minute. We have so much to talk about. The Army's given us all this lovely discussion to discuss. I like it. Hang on, let me pull this up right here so I can give you guys what I'm talking about. So I'm going to post the image of an individual who is well known throughout the Vermont National Guard. Never heard of them? I'm going to tell you what, Vermont National Guard's got probably one of the most baller ass fucking mountain courses on the planet. They are freaking they're not bad when it comes to that shit. So this individual you see posted, U.S. Army Major Zachariah Fike. Zach Fike is the most celebrated National Guard soldier in the country. He's a recipient of the Purple Heart, 2 Bronze Stars, as well as an accomplished entrepreneur and a charity leader. His Milton-based nonprofit, Purple Hearts Reunited, which I'm going to get into that. I am going to. There's a topic we got From the Ashes Radio inside our chats, and Rob Williams, station manager of that, and there's some stuff with this this Purple Hearts Reunited that me and Rob have been discussing, and this is a VSO that's pretty interesting. So we'll get that in a minute. Let's get back to this. Let's back to old Zach here. He's been the first guard member ever in 2016 to be named by the Military Times the first guard to win the prestigious Soldier of the Year award. The success has been given Fike an air of invincibility. So pretty much he's like that guy. He's like the best. There's no way that Zach could ever fuck up. There's no way that Zach could ever do anything. I'm getting he was probably enlisted. I don't know, man. But I will say in discussing to Top Nasty Girl, exactly. I will say that in the discussion with some of the members and some of the individuals that are involved in the article that know of Zach of Major Fike's Zach Fike's status, has got tons of complaints. I was in communication with one of the individuals who asked, hey, we're going to get the story together, and there's more to this. And there was a AP article that came out that was very vague. And it pretty much said that, hey, there's an article coming out about, hey, this guy right here, somebody's under investigation, Vermont National Guard's got some issues, yada, 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 yada. So it's the Guard. The Guard, if you guys have never been in the Guard, you know how the Guard works. It is one of those things to where it's almost like, I don't want to say it's who you know type of shit, but there's individuals that are in the Guard that will say it's who you know. So he's being investigated right now for alleged sexual misconduct. And the exact nature of the inquiry is unclear, as is the extent of the allegations against him. But according to 5 Guard sources familiar with the investigation, to include an alleged victim and 2 others who've been interviewed as part of the inquiry, officials appear to be probing a range of allegations of sexual impropriety dating back all the way to 2014. The allegations of the Guard's response, of course, presents a stress test of the organization's accountability mechanisms, and which leaders have pledged to improve over the recent years. Now, mind you, I'm reading on this article from the Vermont Digger, which, you know, I never heard of this journalistic page. So and exactly, you went there, dude. You went there, Dave. I saw that. Went probe into his probing. Mind you, now some of the individuals of the Vermont National Guard, to include some of the alleged victims, are in the chats. So if you got some shit to fucking say, be prepared to fucking, you know, get your shit rained on. A 7-part series. So, you know, at the time in 2018, the VT Digger had published a 7-part series focused on the misconduct in the Guard, detailing allegations of the sexual assault. So, I guess a lot of it is who you know, exactly that. Fike's attorney, who denied that his client was engaged in misconduct worthy of discipline, but confirmed that the Guard was investigating him, also said that at the Guard's request, civilian law enforcement officials have previously investigated an allegation of sexual assault that leveled at Fike, but had not brought charges. See, we were just talking about how anytime it comes to sexual assault or sexual harassment, especially specifically a violent sexual assault, should be just taken out chain of command. They don't seem to know how to fucking handle it. So in July, 2 days after VT Digger had begun reaching out to the Guard about Fike, they released, remember I was telling you about that vague press release announcing that, it's initiated some administrative investigations and allegations of misconduct in recent months. He was not mentioned, by the way. Citing Privacy Act, of course. Citing the Privacy Act, the Guard also declined to comment on any specific way about the investigation. Matter of fact, let me just go ahead. Let me give you guys some fucking love here. So as I'm reading and as I'm blabbing about it, you guys can see. Hang on. I will shit it. I'll give you guys some info. I'll give you guys the deets in the chats. So everybody in the chats right now can go ahead and take a look and see what I'm talking about. So at any rate, yeah, exactly that, Pooks. Imagine while under investigation, this is happening. And this is in the active duty side, right? But no, this is the Guard side. And this has been known to Vermont lawmakers for more than a half a year. In February, Senate President pro tempore Becca Valiant received an email outlining some of those allegations and message described as Fike as toxic leader and a sexual predator in our ranks. If he was enlisted, he would have been removed. I'm telling you what, man. This guy's been this is the Military Times Soldier of the Year. Do no wrong. In addition to the 5 people familiar with the Fike investigation, VT Digger also interviewed 6 soldiers who have worked with Fike over the years. One said that he had a reputation amongst the Guard's female whisper network as a creep. I actually got to see some of those, and wow, Fike, damn, dude. I was told you need to be careful around this guy, trying to see how many notches he could put in his bedpost. Another one would be, and any time a third said Fike could be aggressively flirtatious to the point he was essentially propositioning women, he often made appropriate comments. I know a lot of you young women out there, young women officers and young women NCOs, you ever heard a leader say, I'm going to take her under my wing? I got her. I can mentor her. But doesn't mentor anybody else. Just throwing it out there. So despite all that stuff that was happening, the Guard sent Fike to Kosovo anyways. In his pre-planned command role. Man, I remember in the active duty that if you were under investigation and there was some shit happening, you got suspended from command. And if you were cleared, you're moved to another command. Whatever. Or you got fragged if you were, you were guilty. You can't. You got to let him deploy. You can't keep him from deployment. This is the Guard. This is the National Guard Soldier of the Year. Guard leaders received messages from the same person who had said this was preventable. The second message said, "Please help us." The Guard declined these messages, and of course, or the organization's response to them. And Fike did not respond to the interview request made on Facebook through his lawyer in response to the series of detailed questions. His lawyer blamed the Guard for investigating him and the media for reporting on him, and jealous peers for coming forward. With our society so hyper-focused on equality, I am shocked that the National Guard is so fixated on one person who takes two to tango. This motherfucker said two to tango. How come it isn't two to tango when they fucking want to fry you, but not two to tango when it's time to fry them? Holy shit. Talk about victim blaming. That was the lawyer. I am shocked. Oh, clutched in pearls. Oh, Lordy. That only one person when it takes two to tango. Fucking really? Get the fuck out of here. It takes two to tango. The soldier comes up to you for domestic violence. It takes two to tango. Soldier comes up for a sexual assault. It takes two to tango. What the fuck are you talking? What kind of lawyer is that? Some shady ass shit. Probably gonna get arrested and have a cease and desist order or something like that coming at me, but whatever. The lawyer also raised the possibility of Fike filing lawsuits or sexual harassment complaints of those who accused him of sexual misdeeds. The tables are about to be turned on those anonymous defamers. What the fuck, dude? I thought they were protected under the Privacy Act and also their rights, right? What kind of fucking EO bullshit, sexual assault bullshit law violation is this? Which reason why I'm talking about Fike is I was one of the stories that I was going to talk about from last time, but I owed Glory Grace Dickinson the story for the bring awareness about the memorial, but this was going to be on the thing. So he said straight up, the tables are about to be turned on these anonymous defamers. Damn, dude. Check this out. He also brought up Johnny Depp. Quote, accountability will disinfect the smear campaign, just like Johnny Depp achieved in his recent legal win. Could you imagine Joe Snuffy fucking coming up to that in a court-martial? I wonder how many times Major Fike busted people for violating the UCMJ. Imagine if Joe came up with that. There's a South Park where we made fun of the Chewbacca defense. Well, now we're going to talk about the Johnny Depp defense. So the thing is that Fike has got some history in his name. Been serving in the military since the Revolutionary War. His mother was one of the first female drill sergeants, and father served in Vietnam. Over his 2+ decades of service, Fike shoveled between the Guard units in New York, West Virginia, and Vermont, faced grueling combat missions in Iraq and Afghanistan, plus deployments into the Balkans, the Philippines, and the Mexican border. 2 Bronze Stars for heroism, Purple Heart, injuries for staying in action. Specifically, he suffered cuts, burns, and hearing loss and traumatic brain injury from a rocket attack that hit Bagram Airfield on September 11th. As part of his recovery, he took interest in military antiques. Okay, everyone's got their hobby, right? Here's my retirement hobby right here. This is my shit right here. I just rant and go off. He started this fucking this veteran service organization called, and here's from the Ashes Radio, Rob Williams. Listen to this. He starts to this thing called Purple Hearts Reunited. Has returned hundreds of medals and keepsakes to their rightful owners. Now, currently, right now, there's a story that's underway that's being worked on, and that'll get released on Sergeant's Time as well, about these veteran service organizations that like to fucking, I don't know what it is. They find out that somebody was unjustly not awarded a medal, and they go and they, on behalf of the Army or the DOD, but not, award them their missing medals. And we're not talking about guys who fill out the fucking paperwork, submit it through, the National Archives or through the Department of Defense or through the Department of the Army. We're talking about this weird, it's like a weird VSO that goes out and grabs medals and say, yep, you deserve it. And then that individual who is awarded the medal can now claim veterans benefits, Purple Heart recipient benefits, and all that. I kind of like, Man, if I'd known that. How many people in the audience right now have felt that you should have been awarded something? Fucking hey, call these people up. I'm going to get you an award that you don't deserve. Maybe you do deserve. I don't know. I'm just starting to dig into this VSOs. There's 2 VSOs that I'm looking at. This one right here that Fike's involved with, and then another one. I just want to find out, hey, what's the deets of this? What's the legitimacy to that? So the nonprofit work actually was in the History Channel's American Pickers, and gave Fike commendations from the Red Cross and the Military Times. Ahead of the Washington, D.C. ceremony to receive his Soldier of the Year award, Fike met with several congressmen and all that. Oh, let's see what Rick's got to say. The military has a wonderful ability to crucify people for inappropriate verbal comments, jokes, or harassment. At the same time, the military will simultaneously bury any and all sexual assault and rape allegations while bragging about the Sharps program. We success by padding the stats to cover harassment. Why? Because sexual assault and rape makes the unit look bad. When I say buried, it means the soldier received treatment, completes full medical exam, made a formal report, and nothing. Not a damn thing. This does not even go on how it's entirely rank dependent, and it's a joke. Damn right. Damn right. Great point there, Rick. Great point. Cause. You're damn right. I wonder if they're going to go to Fike's VSO to ask for their National Defense Service ribbon. You're right. So I'm going to tell you what. This whole story right here is deep. And I sent you the link in all the chats, and of course it's on WTF Nation Radio's Facebook page, because I wanted you guys and gals to read this shit and say, what the fuck. That was the thing that, and also I owed somebody the one of the individuals who was involved in the event. I owed that individual, and I said I would do it, and I keeping to my word. Allegations against Fike occurred in February. Email with an urgent subject line: request for media, a state government intervention in the Vermont National Guard. The anonymous note signed K. Ford SARC team. The cryptic signature suggests that the warning could have come from a sexual response coordinator, or SARC, serving in the Guard's deployment to Kosovo. Man, Kosovo. We still have people in Kosovo. You want to talk about Infinity War in Afghanistan? We're still in fucking Kosovo. 1999 was when we went there. And 95 to Bosnia. How come nobody's complaining about that war? Probably because we're not getting shot at. I'm guaranteed if there was bodies being stacked in Kosovo or Bosnia, there'd be some shit. Later detailed allegations against Fike and former Guard member include contact information for a dozen current and former Guard members who might provide information about Fike's alleged misconduct. Letter writer bemoaned on how little has changed since the Office of Complex Investigations. Oh, I didn't even know there was that office. If anything, the person wrote 2021 report made things worse and basically confirmed that the leadership had that the power was absolute, and the women in the organization will continue to have to shut up and take the abuse if they want to keep their jobs and get promoted. So, Jasper Craven, by the way, is the individual. He can be reached at J. Clark Craven at gmail.com. If anybody from the Vermont National Guard that's listening in right now or has dealt with Major Fike can go ahead and just drop information. So, yeah. So all that. I don't get how and what blows me away is that this is not. I don't see this broke on any of the main mill websites. I don't see it Army Times. I don't see militarytimes.com. I don't see the AP. The AP from the little blurb. Steve Bannon did kind of talk about it and say, hey, what the hell? Army Reddit even said, hey, this is kind of vague as shit. What's up? This really didn't tell me anything. So exactly that, Pookie. Female soldiers should just drop the deets. Just start dropping. I want to make sure I didn't fucking miss anything with the phone number there because I got the lines open. They should exactly that. They should drop all the deets. All the deets. It's not like this has already not been known, but I'm curious myself why this hasn't made national news and why hasn't this made national military news. Why is it that WTF Nation Radio and U.S. Army WTF Moments, along with the Vermont Digger, have not come out and say this? Hey, what's going on with this? I don't understand. You could say that. You could say that the Military Times Soldier of the Year was fucked up, and this is why, and this is what happened. But from the Ashes Radio, WTF Nation Radio will be reporting on a joint look into about another event about the VSOs that have this weird returning medals thing. I've never heard of that. I don't get it. Be a good PAO, that's why. Officers defending OER bullets. That's used to trip me out. It used to be like public statements would be released about a specific event that happened and all that. Now it seems like public affairs individuals don't want to brief bad news. It's like, which is going to be the next the next topic of our discussion. But it's almost like nobody wants to brief bad news anymore. It's got to be good news or nothing, and then we'll post a standard fucking generic rah, look at this, check this out. And exactly that, Heather. Only NCOs do bad shit. Not as officers. Only the enlisteds. Yes, indubitably. Only the enlisteds do enlisteds stuff. Which, by the way, the worldwide, yeah, exactly. Some douchebags do good things and get, sometimes douchebags, yeah, exactly that. Why is it always going to happen? Exactly that cause. Hey, speaking of which, Heather, I see you in the chats. I know currently going on right now is the maneuver conference. Or Fort Benning. Did you ever get a visit from an individual? There's some visits there. There was supposed to have been. I know me and the Sergeant Major of the Army went back and forth, but we discussed the mold issues that are currently happening, and just kind of wondering what's happening. Just wondering if you got. I know there's a little bit of a delay in our broadcast, so by the time I'll keep talking and then just pipe in on the chats. If you ever got a visit, if any leaders from Fort Benning, I tweeted out some pictures of mold. The mold is still happening. Anything that we provide, of course, you can also go to Steve Bainon of Army Times. God, Military Times, Army Times. God, my brain's fried right now. Nope, denied invitations and no one else responded. Okay, there you go. The SMA did not respond to the invitations. And now, mind you, this is an advocacy group that is fighting for clean health and housing advocacies for the troops. Denied. Didn't happen. There you go. You heard it first. Breaking raw data news. 2 soldiers from Fort Benning have been arrested for sexual misconduct of minors and only mentioned active duty, not at Benning. There you go. That's SMA say the leadership for the tour was sufficient and he is the best advocate. Wow. Aaron said that lived in Smoke Bomb Hill Barracks 2002 and 2006, and yeah, exactly that. That was currently kind of like the big thing where SMA went to somebody's barracks and said they were all messed up. I think for Special Forces Command, we're part of that too. Humans more important than hardware. Yes, I'm going to troll them until fucking this is fixed, by the way. So there's 2 families right now that Heather's been advocating for, displaced for mold with closed work orders. There's actually a housing backup at Benning that's got this that's got their freaking Abrams HG freaking hotel pretty much stacked. So there's like kids, dogs, cats, birds staying in there, and there's individuals that have waited for weeks until housing's open for bomb it and rebuild it with Bradley pieces. Exactly. Yeah, so that's appreciate the update, Heather. I know I was like, let's go. I was like, when he tweeted back to me, he said, let's go. I'm like, oh hell, man, really, dude? Like next day notice and shit. You know how much a plane ticket costs? I'm not gonna go like right now. Give me some notice, and we'll go do a visit together. You know what? I wonder if will I get banned from a installation as a retiree if I decide to go? Hey guys. I'm Ice from WTF Nation Radio, U.S. Army, WTF Bombers. Let's take a walk at your barracks. And I just do like a Facebook Live, different barracks, different installations. You think I'll get in trouble? Do you think they'll get the ass and say, hey, this retiree can't come on post? You can only come over here for a haircut at the commissary? I should just do that. Yeah, and President did. Well, no, the president W. I didn't see no damn mold. Shut up, Pookie. Papers, please. Exactly. Jose, man. Lord, we have Jose. I don't think like since the Golden Knights psyop. Wow, did I just say that? The Golden Knights psyop thing with the. Yeah, I think I need to do that. I need to visit some installations and just swing by and see how the kids are doing on CQ and staff duty. And then just last time I did that, I swung by and their kids were doing. It was a spring cleanup back and forth brag, and this kids were doing Operation Clean Sweep on Fort Bragg, back and Bragg. You know, where they closed half the installation down just to do area beautification, and so I swung by. You know, I had to be sneaky. I had to be sneaky because I was still in, and I had to change out of my uniform because I was in the Army at the time, and got in civilian clothes as about as nondescript as I could. In the 82nd area, nobody really doesn't know me back in the 82nd except for some of the old timers. They know, some of them know me in the 82nd, and I got some, I brought a cooler and brought some drinks and stuff like that. Brought them some chow and all that. So yeah, I did that. That was find the bodies in the field. Exactly that. That's where the joke, the Plank Road Spouses Club came about, because the soldiers were doing clean sweep and they found all those bodies out on a drop zone on Plank Road. But anyways, yeah. So I did that. I did that while I was still in representing WTF Moments and WTF Nation Radio, and I was like, "Oof, man!" I had to be careful. I had to slow my roll. People were like, "Hey, I saw you near Area J. What were you doing out there? Were you mountain biking?" I'm like, "Yeah, I was mountain biking. Yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was. I was mountain biking on Area J." Yeah, so I almost got my cover blown doing that type of work for the Joe. I think I'll do that again. I think I'll probably visit Fort Hood. I'll probably visit Fort Bliss, Fort Sam. So me and Doc Dredd could hang out, and then just walk. Just those are my Texas locales. Maybe I'll just do a barracks walks tour, and until I get a cease and desist from the Army. I don't know if my retirement check gets cut off. Will I get? This guy here, who's this guy? Some PAO at DA. Who's this fucking guy here? Just looking, he could just come up post. Bunch of assholes. Yeah, I think I'll do that. And we'll do. It's almost like a WTF Nation. I'll start out west and I'll go back east, and do it that way. Joe's Beer and Pizza. And exactly that. Well, I didn't give him no pizza. I didn't give him no beer, but I did give him sports drinks, Gatorades, and some chow. Like I got some sandwiches. I got some cold cut sandwiches because it was outside, and man, you see the face light up. When was the last time I asked? I'll say, hey, when was the last time you ate? When was the last time you guys got a break? And then, NCO let us out here, blah, blah, blah. So I'm all right. So I popped the tailgate opened up some stuff, got some chairs out, shot the shit, smoked cigarettes with the Joes and all that, and asked some questions. And there we go. That's how it, like I said, a friend of mine drove by. I was like, I saw your truck at Area J. What were you doing there? Were you mountain biking? Yeah, I was mountain biking. Subway and Gatorade, that's it, man. The lemon pepino, of course. The cucumber Gatorade, and fierce grape, fierce orange. But jalapeno spread is made from that mold. Exactly. All right, so the Chargers and the Chiefs. Oh, Chargers 10, Chiefs 0. Good. I'm not a Chiefs fan, so I'm not a Chargers fan either. But anybody playing against the Chiefs I'm a fan of. But anywho, so General Buzzer's first walking town hall. That's not Benning, right? No. Yeah, like I said, I'm going to start off West, and then make my way east for my walkthroughs, and it's just see what happens. See what's going on, and then real quick. Oh, Cos, why did you say that? You went this entire conversation. The entire conversation. And then you had to drop Latinx. Today is the beginning of Hispanic Heritage Month. So anybody who's been dropping the fucking... I know Martha's Vineyard right now is feeling pretty is getting all that heritage. You guys not watching the news? I'm sure Kaz will talk about it. I'm gonna throw some notes to Kaz, that way he can talk about it, because it's fucking hilarious. I think it's funny as shit. Oh, see, I'm sorry, Baconator. I'll tell you what, it'll be a mutually peaceful, amicable event when I visit Fort Riley and I visit around that area, and then we can drink a couple beers. How about that? We'll be cool. I've been to some Chiefs events and been cool, wearing my Raiders t-shirt underneath. But yeah, I've been, you know. Yeah, that's true. I went 53 minutes before mentioning Fort Bragg, so you're right. Yeah. So, anyways, the Latinx. So right now, Martha's Vineyard is they're getting some love. They're getting a ton of Hispanic heritage. It's awesome. I'm sure Kaz will tell you the story about the busing of immigrants from Florida to Martha's Vineyard, and now all of a sudden it was like 50 of them, and now people are making much shit. So I love it. Anyhow, so I'm gonna take a break right quick, check my feeds because I'm seeing notifications going off in my peripheral vision here. So let's go ahead and take a break, and then go hit the head, refill your glasses, smoke them if you got them, get some shots, and then see ya in a second.
What is this Facebook Live? I've never heard of this shit.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Take it from me, Ice. You can't just float around space not caring about stuff forever.
The voice of U.S. Army. WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Shit in the bag, Pogue.
Nothing feels the same. Let it all be I am here determined to stop this future atrocity.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe. I suggest we use it.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I find your lack of faith disturbing. Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots
have assisted me, especially in the story with the Vermont National Guard. More details follow, of course. U.S. Army WTF Moments and WTF Nation Radio. We'll share, like, follow, tweet, and we will discuss it, of course, as always. As your humble guest, your podcaster. All of you guys are the same. You know, you guys are my you guys are our credentials. Without you guys are our shareholders. So I appreciate. We're not like any other podcasters, just us rambles and just not whatever. We will listen and look inside the comments and engage with the audience, which I think brings that unique flavor to WTF Nation Radio and all of our other, podcasters, Pop Culture Warrior, and then of course Kaz, and then me and Spaggy. Man, so busy stuff. Anyways, going on because we have WasabiCon coming on in the middle of next month. A lot of stuff happening. Gonna be, freaking CQ is just like doing the rounds, man. That's what I'm talking about. Where was I at? What was I? Before I got sidetracked. Yeah. Okay. So, the Army. WasabiCon. WasabiCon. So the Army. The Army doesn't like bad press. They don't like it. They don't like it at all. As a matter of fact, the Army doesn't like bad press at all, but will also tell soldiers to get food stamps. Like the South Park skit. It doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. We'll talk about the food stamps though. So this was as of yesterday. The Army suggests food stamps for soldiers battling inflation. Guidance from the U.S. Army for soldiers struggling with inflation. They had suggested that they take advantage of the Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program, SNAP, food stamps. So, some of the veterans have been in a little bit longer. Remember back in the day, the Army used to have, and that used to be the big sticking point with the support our troops crew. It was back and forth. It was Republican and Democrat, specifically the Republicans. Yeah, we don't support the troops. If you don't support the troops, they're suffering and their soldiers are on food stamps. Yada. How dare you say something like that? No leader at the time in the U.S. Army would have ever said, maybe you should get some food stamps. Never. Back at that time, you would have gotten relieved. I think the Army needs to relieve more people. Just like, bam, like the Navy relieves people for fucking dropping the anchor at the wrong way. Of course, hyperbole, of course, that I'm using, and pure sarcasm. And exactly that cause. Back in the 90s, we did push food stamps. So the Army has suggested guidance that they, to fight inflation, use stamps. Summary of the Army said, quote, with inflation affecting everything from gas prices to groceries to rent, some soldiers and families find it harder to get by on budgets that they've set and used before. Soldiers of all ranks can seek guidance, assistance, and advice through the Army Financial Readiness Program. Now, here's, and he's got a good point. I'm not digging the Sergeant Major of the Army on this right there. I think we've lost a lot of the, I don't know, did we fuck up home ec or some shit? Damn, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 voice messages and shit. Anyways, dropping the anchor is a special Navy euphemism. What was I saying? The finance stuff. It's a delicate situation because we don't want to get too involved in our soldiers' lives, but in fact we do as leaders. You kind of have to. The soldiers will sit there and say, you guys are intrusive and this is invasive and blah, blah, blah. Well, there are some programs that units don't ever give. I mean, There is a lot of things happening right now. Just think about it. You're Joe, sitting in the barracks, listening to CQ, listening to WTF Nation Radio, and there's probably so many programs that are out there that your leaders may not be aware that exist for you if you're, name it, education, finance, and all that. The Army does have them. The Army has also cut a lot of those programs too. That guidance right there that has come out is kind of the SNAP applications are processed through the state agencies with its own eligibility standards, and applicants have to go through their local office, which brings the financial frontline one-stop shop resources include educational videos and stuff like that. The guidance also pointed to soldiers to the government's public service loan forgiveness program for those who qualify. Now, I get. How do I say this? I'm trying to be delicate to the Army program. There's a lot of people who really work hard in those Army programs, but if they don't get used, if your leaders and the individuals that are working are not being informed, and this is the point to where we say, hey, how come we don't have this, or how come we don't have that? All that mandatory training, which we're going to talk about in a minute. You kind of have to pay attention for. I think there needs to be more of a one-on-one, more of a facilitator, a small group type led events where you have individuals, and you can't blow it off. You can't. One of the things when I always tell individuals, you got to pay attention to every single brief you get, like when you're retiring or when you're getting out. That's why I think SFL TAP is really important for soldiers to have a year out. They should be fenced. They shouldn't not be told to do anything because it's an entire life transition. Lee, thanks, Cause. Hey, Lee, we covered that at the beginning. We'll cover that at the end. Like I said before, we covered it in the beginning, and we'll cover it at the end. I'll give you this the source material speaking. I appreciate it, Cause. So Army emergency relief. Believe it or not, everyone talks about Army AER has its annual drives, especially if you're a retiree. We get sent. If you want to retired, AER sends us their propaganda and trifolds and leaflets saying, "Hey, this is what you want to donate to AER." So there's two organizations that I donate to, and that's No Shave November for St. Jude's, and then there's AER, because I still feel that that's important to me and also important to the force. That as much as I can as a retiree, I want to invest into the force. There are some loans that you don't even require a commander's sign off on it, an approval, an endorsement. Also, some of these can also assist with grants. And there's a lot of money that peace out, Heath. Have a good one. There is a lot of, how do I say, returned money or money not used that AER has annually that could definitely go into requesting for it. I think this is the same situation that the Army has faced during the 90s. They even talked about bringing back the draft and shit because it was so fucking bad with the inflation. It was so bad with soldiers. It does loan and grants, exactly that. And like Cos was saying, we actually was a heavy during the 90s. It was a heavy. Hey, if you need anything, use AER because COLA. Especially if you were stationed overseas or stationed like in Hawaii or Alaska or something like that. I don't know if they still do COLA in Hawaii. In Alaska, or they don't think you paid like an all pipeline supplement or something like that. But anyways, I digress. The programs that we have in the Army, it just sucks that we have to get to that. It sucks that we have to do it. Now, can we say peacetime force now? Can we say peacetime force without people getting all butthurt and shit because we're saying peacetime force? Andrew says that less than 24 hours to get one of my guys a lump sum payment under bad circumstance. So there you go. I think AAR also has. I think they waived something where that way they don't really. They used to not be restrictive with it. I must have some new leadership or something like that. But AAR is completely online at AER.org. You just go on there, get on there. You can go on your phone and check it out, and you can apply for that. I've seen it, done it when AER. We broke that it's been online, and we had General Tammy Smith come on, and we discussed AER too. So It's a good program. And it sucks that right now at this time during this inflation, it blows. I don't know what to fix it. Any installation that you go, name your installation, name your post. There seems to be landlords out there that like to charge a lot of fucking rent, and we know for a fucking fact they don't pay that much for a mortgage, but they like to say it's the economy, and that's what. Yeah, that's why you're charging $2,500 for a specialist. With the family, that's wrong. I don't know what the fix is. I mean, these are some of the things, and it sucks that the Sergeant Major of the Army has to say this, and it blows me away that all the support our troops politicians are not talking about pay raises or not having a specific, I don't know, maybe like a living adjustment or a living allowance or something like that. And I don't get how any of these surveys that they tell us to fill them out, but I wonder how much input. Maybe we should have some of the, COLA and BAH cost analysis people, budgeting people. I know I'm a money enthusiast. Who doesn't like money? But no soldier needs to have to worry about exactly that cost. No, man, the cost. You read my notes. No soldier has to be worrying about paying bills. But also, there you go. Soldiers also need to have financial planning training. There are some soldiers that come into the military that have had no life coach or no life skills when it comes to budgeting. They see, oh my God, I'm getting this money. And it's coming in. I get this pay, and I got this, and I got that, and I get this to come with it. And I have to go do this, and man, I'm gonna get this, and and if I get deployed and I get TDY, I'm gonna blah 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 blah. Not realizing that taking that loan out on a Challenger that they no longer make anymore. Which, man, have you seen those Challengers lately? The used ones now that they stopped making them? Fuck, man, they're like expensive as shit. None of them have, I would say, I don't want to say that. It's not like, it's like just street sense or I don't know, adulting sense. I don't like saying adulting, but Spanky likes dropping that on me. To where you have that type of responsibility. A soldier has that pay coming in, knowing that, I mean, me and Cos, when we came in, we were serving. And me and Red Leg, we were talking about our paychecks back when we were Joes. We thought it was a big fucking deal. $800 a month, man. $800 a month. Shit. Go down to Daiquiri Express in Fort Hood, just to hang out in Colleen while I hang out at Rancier. Your money would go a long way. Go to Cody's. Man, I waited for that $800 a month when I was a specialist. I was a private, I'm sorry. I was a PFC. But yeah, that loot, that mad loot. Rob's got a good point. NCOs pick up where parents drop off. I wonder how many drill sergeants have, I know a couple drill sergeants. I should just query them and say, hey, do you ever have I saw it. Some soldiers that had never left home before. Soldiers that not had parents before. Never had any parents. And isn't that what the NCO world? And I think NCOs have gone away from trying to be, I don't know, that mentor, that lead. I don't know. Lately, I was talking to somebody about how NCOs are now having more of the officer side. NCO, non-commissioned officer. They want to embrace that officer shit and not be down in the weeds NCO stuff. Everybody knows that. Think about it. Anytime there's drama and there's a private and a captain or a major or lieutenant colonel encounters a fucked up Joe, who's your NCO? Who's your sergeant? Right? Exactly that, man. If your mama don't teach you, I will. If your daddy didn't teach you, I will. As a matter of fact, I have had compliments said that, you're the closest thing to a parent I've ever had. I take that as a compliment. And it's fiscal responsibility. I wonder if that soldier prep program, if they talk about that. I think they do. I'll have to get Davis Winky on here to see about if they do that. But that parental, that fiscal responsibility. I mean, tell you what's come in. I was young Joe, had a senior NCO who was, hey, if you don't do this, if you don't, and start talking about mutual funds, and I'm like, what the hell? Are you like part of first command outside the barracks trying to fucking swindle me into some fucking insurance no, this guy was like mutual funds and stocks and CDs and all that, and discussed about savings and all that, emergency fund. This guy was like the Dave Ramsey before Dave Ramsey was Dave Ramsey. And great NCO, always consider him a mentor. And he was always like, hey, man, make sure this, make sure, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, wow, You know, paid for all 15 of my divorces. Didn't have to worry about cashing out. It's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke. I don't have 15 divorces. I have divorces, but I don't have, I am a divorce enthusiast. But anyways, I remember all that. I remember his training, like the 3 pillars, exactly. The pillars, 3 pillars. And I implored that with my soldiers too when they were having some financial issues. They were having some stuff like that, and I would tell them, and I would sit down with them and discuss what plans that you have and all that. And even after AER didn't kick them up, I would kick on some cash to help them out with some stuff like that. It sucks, right? It sucks that this right now in this economy that we're supposedly doing so great, even though we're dealing with inflation right now and the market's kind of tanked. That it has to be done like that. It has to be. It's not to the point. And now, of course, we're not fighting. We're not in Afghanistan or Iraq. Well, we do have some soldiers deployed overseas in those areas and small contingents, except for Afghanistan. It's tough. It's tough. I will say, Cause, you bring up a good point. It's been brought to my attention that some soldiers have gone the OnlyFans route. Ask for my support. But anyways, I'm just kidding. Unless they're officers. Exactly. They have had to go that route. They have had soldiers that have to strip. They have had soldiers, Uber drivers and DoorDash drivers too. I've had soldiers tell me that too. So it sucks. I'm laughing about it because guys in the chats are breaking balls with me about the OnlyFans thing. Woo. But yeah, it sucks. I don't know what to say. I don't know other than the fact that, especially with the housing weight like at Benning, you got soldiers that stay in IHG. That fucking house isn't free. Don't they have to pay something, Heather? When you're inside IHG, those hotels, there's like TLA and DLA and all this other stuff. Is that money going to get covered? Everyone talks about, well, whatever. It's like when I see somebody shit talking about, I pay your taxes. And especially if you're retired or you're collecting VA disability, I always see fuckers like, oh, we pay your taxes. Like, bitch, they took taxes out of my alias too. I paid my own taxes. Almost 30 years of fucking paying doing my own shit. I paid for my own retirement. So, yeah. Oh, shit. That was caught me by surprise. Hang on. Let's see. Oh, hello, WTF Nation Radio. What's up, Stankus? What's up, my man?
What's going on, my man?
Bro, I was just ranting about some shit.
Just checking you out on your roll, bro. I love it.
Yeah, it's like freaking... It's like this money shit, man. It's like crazy. It's like
and they've done a pretty good job. When I say pretty good job, I mean over the last 20 years, trying to catch young soldiers up, unlike the 80s, right?
Right, dude. Recruiter Times, yes. Some members of Recruiter Times were some of them were my former soldiers, and yes, I told them about. Wu-Tang Investments. That was a joke, but I always talked about investing and stuff like that. And I would sit and someone asked me, they're like, how'd you went through divorce, you went through some of this shit, and how did you pay that, and how did you survive and still able to do this and all that? I'm telling you, the investments helped me out, the investments and all that. But I was just telling the audience that everybody who likes to talk about how veterans and service members, I pay your taxes. No, bitch. Every service member pays their own taxes. So I hate it when people say, I pay your taxes, so stop bitching or whatever. Bitch, I am taxes. I pay taxes. And every LES, including you, Stank, and me, said what? FICA, right? That's it, man. We paid into our taxes. We paid into our own career. The Army didn't mind taking it, or the government didn't. Taxation is theft anyways. But I was in the finance room.
Medicare, Social
Yeah,
Security,
we paid all of
of
that. So every time I see somebody on social media say, "I pay your taxes," you're complaining about this. Man, fuck you. I paid my taxes. Exactly that, cause I identify. My pronouns are taxes. Exactly.
Great, man. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Taxpayer.
Exactly. What rank was I, sir? Oh, Carol, you don't got to call me sir. I'm enlisted retired sergeant major. So I didn't make much money. It didn't make much money at all.
Emeritus.
Yeah.
Retired sergeant major. Emeritus.
Emeritus. Esquire. Yeah. That means cool. I'm self-employed. Exactly. As a matter of fact, I wonder what happens if you put that in. I'm gonna have to talk to some individuals that I know. I've had family that worked in the IRS that did auditing, and also had family that worked into state tax systems and all that. And I wonder what would happen if a soldier puts self-employed, because we pay into our own paycheck, right? We pay into our own taxes. We're taxpayers as well. So I wonder if we put self-employed instead of soldier, put self-employed, and then getting haircuts.
Write that off as an expense.
Yeah. Uniforms, gas. Trust me, I didn't make that much money. I didn't make that much. Everyone's like, "Oh, you poor guy." Compared to a freaking, let's put that. It took me 30 years to get what a fucking captain or a major makes, and when they've only been for 6 or 10 years, yeah, whatever. Everyone's like, "Oh, you poor guy." Know, right? Fuck, dude. You forget I was a private too. I am private. Exactly.
Oh man, it just reminded me everything you were talking about. With the younger guys, a lot of guys, they came in, right out of, let's be honest, right out of high school, or a year or two right out of high school, living with mom and dad, not knowing how, and they fall in on let's say they marry up, right, and they fall in on off-post housing. I got to get that TV, got to get that cable, got to get that rent, got to get that furniture, and then back in the 80s, they were a little bit discerning about who they gave credit to, but there were plenty of people in the periphery who'd be happy to give you a line of credit.
You ain't lying.
29% interest.
As a matter of fact, back in the day when you and I were back, when we were wee lads, back in the 90s, I remember you and I talked about how we used to have to get permission from our leaders to buy a car, and they had to come with us to get our POVs. Joes don't believe that. They think that's like an urban legend. They think that's like a they think it's like an old wives' tale. That's like, shut up, old man. You didn't have your leaders go with you to buy a car.
Well, and that's if you had good leadership.
Yeah, exactly.
They would go with you.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you had shit leadership, they were just like, "Hey, man, I don't even look at you after 4:30 in the afternoon or whenever we break formation. Get the F out of my grill."
Exactly that. Like Kaz says, we finance E1 and up. Your LES is your credit. Whatever. Hey, at least I'm not the retired sergeant major sitting outside of any major installation trying to sell you cars.
Yeah, no. What's the damn name of that place you saw outside of every military installation? And I don't care. It could have been Yucca Flats. It was like Devon or some shit. I forget who the hell they were.
Yeah, you're talking about the payday loans, and then the Aaron's rental place too, where you
basically the same shit. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Hey man, we'll sell you this 5-year-old tube TV. It's got the turn dial on it, but you can make it remote control if you have a kid.
Right.
And $39 a week.
Exactly. Well, exactly that. And see that's what I'm saying. And when I tell soldiers about this, I had an LPD, about a year, I would say about a few months back. I had an LPD, and they didn't believe me when I talked about leaders and what leader engagement is all about. And I told them, is it leader engagement or leaders being intrusive to you? Pioneer lending, exactly that. Is it intrusive for a leader to know what your financial status is, or is it engaging leadership to find out what your finance status is? I can guarantee you right now, just you and I talking, like I said, we would have a leader go and fucking with us. Or if you were stationed overseas, you had to get permission to even own a car, period. Not let alone have an NCO go with you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, if you weren't married, usually you were on an unaccompanied tour and you were the property of the base. I mean, shit. You know, in the Marine Corps, you know, on Okinawa, you couldn't even own a vehicle unless you were, you know, like an E5.
Yeah, exactly that, Lee. Drive time, exactly. That's what it's called. Drive time. You had that retired sergeant major that Recruiter Times says that works for Bank of America telling you how old people who didn't invest are eating Alpo. Well, now it's First Command. I'm not trying to diss on First Command, but I remember First Command being all up in my shit for financial planning classes. But we would have the LPD in off post because I guess they couldn't sell your wares or something like that. But how do you talk about stuff like that and it not be considered a WTF moment? You know what I mean? Because how do you get your leaders to be engaged without making it sound like they're being a Jew? Because I'll be honest with you, you know, this ain't the 50s Army anymore. But then again, this is also we as non-commissioned officers kind of have to, you know, fucking. You know, we have to still be non-commissioned officers. Still traditions that as being as an NCO.
You know, yeah, and you bring up a really splendid point. I guess maybe in the back of my head I always considered it to be that way. But yeah, how do you guide or gently guide, but with some kind of parameters, a young guy who's like got his first paycheck that's over $1,000, right? You know, and of course, first thing he wants to put it on is damn Challenger. I get it. You know, and but then of course the military is also say, hey, your security clearance is dependent on your financial security and stability. You know, and you got to have a security clearance to do this job. You know, so where is that line? And I get it. You know that man, damn, you know the platoon sergeant's hounding my ass, says I can't have this damn Challenger. You know, says my bills are too high, my debt to income ratio is crazy. You know. When does it become bullshit?
Well, you're right. Well, isn't it? That's what I'm saying, though. Isn't it? You got to tell leaders that's part of it being a non-commissioned officer. Without there's that. It's hard to navigate with the old style of leadership. Take the ACFT, you know, that replaced the APFT. Why? Because it's a PT test that takes so fucking long to take or to schedule. The Army goes, I got an idea. Let's schedule this shit before the sun comes up. And then the next thing you know, you're like, holy crap, why can't you do the Army Combat Fitness Test as a duty day? I talked about this before and I tweeted it out. Why can't you use the AC? Why can't you just use the entire duty day to knock out an ACFT? If it's art. Look, reversing it back, moving it to the left on the clock, just totally. I mean, because then you're going to have soldiers up at 2:00 in the fucking morning to set this thing up. And then you have daycare, dropping kids off, and all that. Why can't you just make it part of the duty day? Make the ACFT a a time frame event like other units do. They do it in October and they do it in April. No onesies and twosies. And then if you didn't do it because you were deployed or in a school, then obviously you caught up when the October-April time frame. What's wrong with having it scheduled to where you show up at 8 o'clock in the morning to knock out the ACFT? You could drop kids off, you get a cup of coffee and a smoke before you fucking go do ACFT or something like that. And individuals don't have to wake up till. I'm serious, man, because it's like, what the fuck, dude? It's like Frankie. What is it? Frankie said that it feels like a self-fulfilling prophecy to treat soldiers like children. They're going to act like children. If that's what the case, then let's adult decisions deal with adult consequences. Yeah, exactly that. And that's my point. Those adult consequences is what the Army doesn't like to be blasted out. Which is going to get into the next topic of what I'm saying. And everyone, you know, I did get some good feedback. Someone said, hey, Ken, don't you think that, you know, you have organizations and units that have these ACFTs where it's hot, especially in the South and yada, yada. I'm like, if that's the case, then why are you scheduling training events during the summertime in the South where it's hot and yada, yada? You know what I mean? So.
Oh, and having lived that experience.
Right, exactly. I'm going to tell you.
Agree, yeah,
exactly.
Why are we doing this APFT makeup in August?
Yeah, exactly. So specifically is that now exactly that, Jason. The NCO has been promoted so fast that the staff sergeant is now the private. Leaders coming in, especially the commanders, coming in with less than 6 years in the Army, and they're now your commander. And you literally have some of your soldiers that are probably smarter than the commander or better qualified to lead the commander, but make childish decisions. To go back what I was saying about the weather, the heat, and all that, you can't have it both ways. If you're going to talk about the ACFT being scheduled when it's hot, then don't schedule training events or ranges when it's fucking hot, because you're kind of like that's the mentality. You can't do one without the other. So I get it. So the reason why I'm getting to that is that the Army has come out. The Army's pissed right now at the fact that they're being made to look bad. The Army is mad. The Army is saying that the recruiting woes that we have are due to the fact of negative press. They blame negative press for the recruiting problems that we have, which by far is, that's not fucking it. The Army has its own internal look in the mirror type of shit, like that mock-up that I was telling you about, the Dickinson mock-up. There are specific leadership issues that the Army does not want to admit, like sexual assault and sexual harassment and equal opportunity. They don't want to look themselves in the mirror to say they could be the problem of why they're the reason why we're having a retention issue. Recruiter Time said it best. Every person who's in the Army that goes home after their time of service, how they get treated is how that family unit is not or going to fucking recruit. If you, like for instance, Stank, you've had a good experience or a bad experience with the Army, and you ETS, and baby Stank is going to go, "Hey Dad, I want to join the Army." Are you going to remember all your bad fucking the shit that you had issues with and go, "Fuck that, don't join the Army"? Fuck that.
Oh, you're asking me? I'd be like, "Hey, Air Force, man."
No, but or the, well, that's a good point too. Or the service. It's like you have a good, that's a good metric. The Army, it's not a, I swear it's not a fucking, it's a us thing. It's a you thing. It is a you thing. The Army says, again, like I said, we don't like we don't like bad press. Also, the Army, we will cancel. Yeah. We will cancel a needed surgery. Yeah, I was saying. But also the Army will say, we will cancel a needed surgery that's decided by a 6-year in-service captain with a degree in business, and then med-board your ass because why? Because you needed a fucking surgery, and now because they canceled it because they needed you for NTC, if you live, because I've known individuals who've died of cancer, who have had necessary surgery, or have had even worse injuries like heart attacks, or pulmonary embolisms, almost died just to make that NTC rotation. But yet the Army fucking says it's the bad press. The thing is that the Army has a problem with storytelling and reporting. The Army, you have an Army that has public affairs officers and public affairs personnel that don't tell the Army story. They literally are fighting with the media on social media and not telling that Army story, not telling, hey, these are the good things that are happening with the Army, but also we just relieved a fucking major who fucking did this and did that because we uphold the standards. The Army doesn't do that. The Army doesn't want, it seems like, to not bust motherfuckers out. Bust it out. It happened. It's whatever. Oh, we just had to make sure this Privacy Act. And no. Fuck that. Unless I'm wrong. Unless I'm like totally bugged up and whatever, but.
Yeah, no, I got it. And, it's an interesting time because what the Army is facing, I believe, and granted, I'm not looking at their paperwork, but, what the Army is facing now is essentially what kind of the civilian workforce is facing. I'm in the civilian workforce now, being retired and whatnot. And, because of the quiet quitting and the great resignation, et cetera, employers are, they're really loath, if you will, to enforce standards to the T that they would have, say, 5 years ago. because it's like, holy crap, I fired this dude. It's going to take me 3 months to replace him.
Right.
And I'm not even talking a specialized trade crap.
Right.
I'm working manufacturing, on an undisclosed automotive manufacturing company. And, just when it comes to just, qualified hourly workers, shooting screws and putting vehicles together and components for vehicles together, pays better than the Mickey D's.
Yeah, exactly. But still, it's just
it's a gig. And if somebody comes in 5 minutes late, and they scroll out on the assembly line 5 minutes late, they collect points. And HR are like, man, maybe we need to kind of push the envelope a little bit and just wait till the bitter end, until this guy just no calls, no shows me. So maybe the Army's dealing with the same thing when it comes to, how are we going to bust people out? I mean, we bust people out. Well, if you're having a recruitment problem,
it's not really busting. It's not really busting people out. It's the fact that the Army talks about standards, integrity. Hell, they got a whole damn acronym called leadership that it's called the Army values. And they're so fucking risk averse to not fucking say the reason why we fired this commander. Like I said, the Navy fires people and they fucking and they post it. Hey, we fired this captain because he fucking dropped an anchor the wrong way. We fired this captain because he ran aground. We fired this captain because he ran into a fishing boat. We fired this captain and the chief of the boat for fucking doing stupid shit. The Navy's got like the standard.
Oh, yeah.
The Navy's got the firing school of excellence. It seems like. To bust people out. I'm like, fucking A. Why? We don't do that.
Hey, if you're in a command in the Navy, that's that one seafaring thing that has, I think they hold near and dear to their heart that's transcended throughout the years, is that, hey, this is the command of your vessel. If there's, if two cabin boys are downstairs fucking in the closet and, that you're relieved of command. Boom.
Right. Yeah. You can't fraternize in the boat. You saw so much fucking shit like that I'm just saying about the Navy. Now the Navy's dealing with their own scandal with their Fat Leonard contractor dude, who like fucking went out on the lam. So the Army blames bad press for media for making recruiting woes worse, but then they tell you to get food stamps. They talk about but we got fucking barracks mold. Hey, we there's no real metric. As somebody told me, there was no real metric on how much mold inhalation is actually bad for you. And then the next thing you know, the ads come out and says, "Were you stationed at Camp Lejeune, or were you at Fort Bragg? Were you in Smoke Bomb Hill when you had the great mold disaster of the 2-decade, the Infinity War of mold?" You know what I mean? So again, the Army has to tell its story. They have to let the units tell a story. You have to be, hey, look, this is some great shit. This is happening. The Army, blah, 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 blah. But they also need to report who they're holding accountable. They also need to report that if somebody on fucking TikTok is posting something fucked up, that and then the thing is that now TikTok leadership has come out to where if you say something about it, you'll be branded a whatever IST at the end of it for fucking mentioning a soldier shouldn't be fucking doing that ass clownery shit in uniform. We're not talking about a fucking Air Force Academy cheerleading team. We're talking about a soldier who is like shit-talking the Army and shit-talking the profession. And then in another note, you find out that somebody is getting flagged or whatever for not following the Army values. Relieve the commands because the Army you didn't follow the Army values. Well, how come you didn't why didn't you relieve that individual for violating the Army values there, for being an ass on fucking line? So that's the Army's discussion and about the bad news doesn't travel well. I guess they don't like freaking. It's hard.
Well,
go ahead.
Yeah, I apologize for interrupting. Yeah, we got a little bit of a lag here, my man. So I'm sorry. I don't mean to be rude. There's some other things too, though, that the Army can be doing. Not only internally doing some soul searching here, but there's also an opportunity here for some marketing and live the marketing. Not just go out there and talk a bunch of bullshit. If you recall, when we were having significant retention issues during the mid-2000s, obviously for that certain, two conflict globally, the Pentagon paid a ton of cash really try to bolster and capture not only just the imagination of people who may be interested in it. And to be fair, maybe I'm jingoistic and I get caught up in the rapture, but some of those old Army Strong commercials were pretty badass, and filmography and the rousing musical score and
B-O-U-K-B, yeah.
And frankly, don't see it anymore, man. I see maybe like a little 5-second soundbite, and I'm really not picking up what they're laying down, other than maybe somebody who's already 100% set on joining the military after they get out of high school.
Well, all of
and they don't need the motivation.
Yeah, brother, but all of it's reactive. A lot of those stories that you see happening is usually reactive to somebody on social media crying about something, and it's reactive. It is straight reactive to whatever it is. And you hear about the mean, bad leader trying to make a difference, or you'll hear about the great leader that is a performative piece of shit that's pontificating about being a great leader, but has got a shady past, if that makes any sense. But anyways, that's just...
that juxtaposition can't exist. There's no doubt about that. Marketing campaign or otherwise.
Right.
We can't have a cadre that's above the above the regulations, above the law, if you will. That's clear.
Yeah,
and to be honest with you, it still surprises me to this day with all the latitude now that the lower enlisted have to basically raise their hand and say, hey, this is jacked up. Right, wrong, or indifferent. In a lot of cases, hey, yeah, this is a legitimate issue. I'm raising my hand. I'm blowing the whistle, whatever. And then there's, of course, all the subterfuge and the white noise that you got to kind of weed through. He just said that it wasn't right that I should show up on work late, and I just think that's discriminating me, whatever. But, wise wisdom needs to prevail there when you're cutting through all that. But shit needs to be done if there's some significant abuse that's taking place.
We got somebody's comments saying that was thinking about joining the Army tomorrow, but after listening to this and reading the comments tonight, I would no-show the recruiter because I would be turned off about the whole organization and the whininess of soldiers on this show. Whatever, Moo. You're not even joined in yet. Whatever. We're talking about shit to fix the Army. We're not whining about the Army. We're talking about shit to fix it. All of us here are patriots and proud of our service and veterans of serving. So this whole show's been nothing but a shitfest about the Army. The Army's not fucking perfect, dude.
Let me add too, and I don't know if Moo's listening, but Moo, if anything that I said it would dissuade anyone from that service, then by all means, my apologies. But at the end of the day, what ICE is saying is 100% correct. These are issues that we're trying to tackle that would basically improve any individual soldiers, new recruits or existing soldiers, such as yourself. So, with that said, there's bullshit, and sometimes the bullshit is what gets talked about the most, but there's a lot of great things about, things too. Things that are intangible. I couldn't even begin to describe camaraderie, teammanship, brotherhood, things that just really have to be experienced. But anyway.
Yeah, so Pook's got a good... you're good. Pookie's got a good one. He said that you want to fix the Army, reduce the officer corps. That's right. Hey, man, I got to get going because I got one more thing we're going to talk about, and then I got to.
Man, I'm going to let you have at it, man. But thanks for letting me blah blah blah.
Yep, exactly.
And otherwise, my friend, you be good, okay?
You too, brother. Have a good. Again, we got Stank from our famous Stankus. See ya. All right. You got stanked. Anyways, so the last thing I wanted to talk about is the Army has come out. The Chief of Staff of the Army has come out and said, "Why are you guys doing online training? When I was a division commander, I didn't do that shit." has caused a lot of furor in the fervor, vitriol. Wait a minute. You made us do all this fucking online training and you don't even fucking do it? Well, of course you're not going to do it because as the commander of the 101st Airborne Division at the time, He wasn't required to do it, right? Army online training was not a go. Now they're saying don't fucking do it. And I'm gonna tell you what, the Army leaders are shocked to learn that we have been actually doing all this. The Army, the organization that set this fucking online training up is shocked that everybody's doing it. That's the fucking kicker. Steve Bannon for fucking exactly that. Steve Bannon, Army reporter for military.com, said that senior Army leaders say commanders need to stop worrying about so much about mandatory online training, which are largely seen as one of the biggest burdens among the ranks and file. To the point where yeah, Mogi's going to say, now I'm going to do it out of spite. The move is part of a broader shift away from the global war and terrorism era and moving towards ramping up training for conventional warfare. Stop taking online classes. Don't do it, the Sergeant Major of the Army said. You're hearing it now. As a matter of fact, I should do a screen cap. I should do a window cap of... I should do the window cap of it so that way you guys see the article. You know, I'm not bullshitting you right now. There we go. You guys going to see it right there. Hang on. There you go. Don't do it. First thing under that big ad for you to get that big finance, that money right there. Don't do it, the Sergeant Major of the Army said at a conference. Set your priorities for your organization and fight for it. Senior Army leaders want commanders to stop hounding their soldiers to complete the mandatory online training. You can't make this up. This is a WTF moment in itself, right? The organization that is mandating online training are now having their leaders tell you not to do online training. I don't know what to say. That's just a little quick blurb on there. It's going to be posted on the Facebook timeline for U.S. Army WTF Moments at WTF Radio. I just think it's funny. Don't do it. These are the same individuals that don't know how to fucking handle parental leave guidance. Don't worry. The leaders don't listen anyways. There's going to be some super commander out there who's going to be Captain America to try to save the world. Even though this training is in DTMS, don't do the training. So could you imagine General McConville when he was the commander at the 101st? I wonder how many people he relieved or fragged or counseled for not doing your mandatory online training. Oh, man. Exactly that, Pooks. There's some training that's attached to your accounts. Cybersecurity. Exactly. Mulkey says that the 350-1 just burst into flames. As it adds this million of DTS managers and training brigade training NCOs and officers cried out at once and then suddenly silenced. Oh, man. Brandon says, legit, the second this article came out, our leadership here at the great place, probably Fort Hood, said to make your soldiers conduct some online training. What did I tell you? Your leaders did not follow guidance from our senior Army leadership when it came to masking and keep social distancing for COVID, when it came to the Army directive for the parental leave guidance and, postpartum. They don't fucking listen. Do they still make you do leave form cover sheets? They just freaking her. This is, oh man, this is fucking hilarious. This is, again, the irony, the big what WTF moment for this is the organization that is mandating online training is telling you not to do it now. I wonder how many contracts. I wonder how many online facilities. We were part of Doctor. Did you know if you knocked out your online training, you would have seen U.S. Army WTF moments? We're in Doctrine. We're everywhere. Back at Hood. Exactly that, Josiah. Back at Hood. Oh, man. All right, so we got a few minutes before we got to close up. Let's see. Let me see the roster and see what is going on. Oh man, I got some foreign. We got some foreign. So Pop Culture Warrior. Okay, so we didn't do the show. Pop Culture Warrior. That Dragon Ball Z actress was not obviously we didn't have a show because Pop Culture is out doing stuff. You're assigned. The whole needing med pros done before I take leave needs to go away. Guess what? Army leaders said that you don't do that. And it's okay. Your leaders are disobeying a direct order and a directive. Woo, man. So, listen to us 4 times a week, unless we're doing some shit, doing some shenanigans. I will post my installation tour map, and you'll see a video getting posted on U.S. Army WTF Moments. It'll probably be a weekend. We can hang out, shoot the shit. I don't know, I might bring a beer. Who knows? Walk through your barracks, see how things are going. Do a freaking Q&A. Hopefully I don't get banned from any installation. But tune in. Make sure you have join. Make sure you tune in tomorrow to join Friday Night Freedom with Kaz. You guys are making me roll in the freaking chats. With Kaz and Pookie. Hopefully, Kaz, damn it, I'm going to give you some notes later on tonight to talk about this Hispanic Heritage Fest that Martha's Vineyard is having for immigrants coming from Florida. I love it. Now all of a sudden, illegal immigration is now in the lexicon of liberals. I know he's going to talk about it tomorrow. The Monday edition, of course, with myself and Shipwreck. Tuesday, Pop Culture Warrior when he's back from his conference or back from his mission. You guys might be seeing some social media later. He got to meet Kevin Smith, Clerks. Wednesday's a day off, and of course, Sergeant's Time with moi and Spanky. I almost want to call in tomorrow, Cos. I almost want to shoot the shit and bullshit with you about this thing, but I'll just shoot you some notes and then shoot you some. Spanky had something. Okay, look, Spanky had some things going on, and freaking, I'm gonna tell you what, Spanky had some things going on, and taxation and stuff, right? And so I had to make sure that, hey, Spanky, I'm gonna be going on a rant anyways. You probably won't get in a word in edgewise. So there you go. So to recap, I saw somebody in the chats earlier at the beginning of each show. Anytime I'm behind the mic, I'm giving you updates on the first Special Forces Command debacle with the Mike Dickinson mock-up and how First Special Forces Command is trying to backtrack from installing a new memorial over a memorial of an already fallen PSYOP soldier. And so still no word yet. I'm looking at all my feeds, and I'm not seeing any updates from the widow, the Gold Star spouse, Glory Grace Dickinson. And so I will provide you, of course, all updates, but this is the memorial that First SFC wants to do. And, of course, over the Staff Sergeant Michael A. Dickinson II Airborne Mock-Up Facility dedicated in the memory of Mikey. We call him Mikey, and then Staff Sergeant Michael A. Dickinson II. Killed in Operation Iraqi Freedom. 9th PSYOP Battalion, 4th PSYOP Group. So that mock-up update, I will give it to you post-haste as soon as I get the deets. I know currently right now I am in discussion with the widow, and we will, we'll continue to, every time I'm behind the mic, again, I'm going to beat that dead horse. Every time I'm behind the mic, you will get an update about this mock-up, specifically to the Ghost Berets at the PSYOP Regiment. So with that, y'all freaking appreciate you tuning in. I don't think I've taken a breath. I've been like blah, 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 blah. So with that, thanks guys for hanging out, and shots.
Hey, this is SEAC retired John Wayne Troxel. You're listening to WTF Nation Radio, the station of choice for all of the badass MFers on the planet.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.